They're off. Jump away first time. The Grade 2 Unibet Kingmaker Novices Chase. Rubaud, the purple and pink stars, taking on the short price favourite, the grey L'Eau du Sud, as they make the run to the first of the scheduled 12 fences. Tedley drops in third place, and the early back marker is Risk in the Ground. It's a fairly gentle 30 miles an hour approaching the first, and the leading half of the field inseparable on landing. L'Eau du Sud on the right and Rubaud the left, and then Tedley and Risk in the Ground, and they're already bearing down on the second. And each of them pretty assured at the second fence. A bit of a run now before the next three will come quite close together on the run away from the stands. Rubaud in the hands of Lorcan Williams on the near side of L'Eau du Sud and Harry Skelton. And then Tedley and Jamie Brace in third place. And L'Eau du Sud stablemate Risk in the Ground under Charlie Todd, last of the quartet, as they run the left-hander to carry them off to this line of three fences, the middle one in the line being the first of the ditches. And each of the leading two bowled there. They were certainly quicker through the air than Risk in the Ground in last position, who was cautious. Already on to the fourth, L'Eau du Sud and Rubaud. The advantage with the former there. Tedley hopping over neatly enough in third place, and a small break to Risk in the Ground. On to the fifth, L'Eau du Sud and Rubaud over Tedley and Risk in the Ground, and now they turn to go on the incline and head to the highest point of the track. It's been a fairly even pace through the first 3/4 of a mile or so. A long gallop now before they leave the ground at the first of the 5 fences in the back straight. Now when they get to the first of those, they will be beyond the halfway point and probably getting on for about 2.5 minutes into the race. But those 5 fences are going to come rapid fire. Good test of the accuracy of a novice's jumping, and Rubaud and L'Eau du Sud run to the left-hander. When this race was last run a couple of years ago on perhaps not quite as soft ground, it only took 47 seconds to get across the 5 down the back straight. So Rubaud and L'Eau du Sud could sit this race alight as they go towards the first in this line. They're clear of Tedley, who in turn is well away from Risk in the Ground. Rubaud just with the advantage on landing to L'Eau du Sud, but both good. And now an open ditch coming up sharply. They're well clear of the other two. L'Eau du Sud jumping on there and quicker through the air than Rubaud, just half-lengthing his rival. Middle one in the back straight. L'Eau du Sud over Rubaud. Gap between them a length now. 15 back to Tedley. Risk in the Ground is still continuing, heading for the last half mile. L'Eau du Sud again, metronomically accurate and beginning to draw clear now. He's gone 5, 6 lengths clear. Set alight at the last in the back straight and responding with springs in his heels. L'Eau du Sud, it's carried him effortlessly clear, it would seem, Rubaud. Tedley's a further 10 or 12 lengths back in third, and Risk in the Ground a remote fourth, and L'Eau du Sud is beginning to saunter clear, it would seem. Swinging the final turn, just a couple of fences to jump up the straight in the Unibet Kingmaker Novices Chase. And L'Eau du Sud is stringing them out in single file here. 10 clear of Rubaud, 2 out. Again, another very accurate jump. Rubaud sticking to it, trying to chase down L'Eau du Sud. 1 to jump, Skelton shakes up L'Eau du Sud at the last. Rubaud getting a bit closer. L'Eau du Sud puts himself right. Rubaud is running on pretty willingly. Now Skelton shakes up L'Eau du Sud. He wants a bit of company. Rubaud continues to close. L'Eau du Sud is going to be all out in the end. Rubaud is inching closer. L'Eau du Sud is doing enough. And a poignant success in the colours of the late John Hales. L'Eau du Sud remains unbeaten over fences and beats Rubaud in the Kingmaker. Tedley back in third, Risk in the Ground, last of 4.
Well, time to get it from the saddle. Harry Skelton, how did you find L'Eau du Sud today?
Yeah, good, Nick. Look, the most thing I was happy about is he jumped brilliantly. Big test round here. He was under pressure down the back and he answered every call. As soon as I sort of jumped 3 out at half, just sat on him to give him a bit of a breather, because we'd gone at it down the back, wanted a good honest race, and from then on he's just idled all the way. And the other horse came to me early enough that he just pushed him then up from halfway up the running really, but no, job done.
So it was more that you weren't asking him to keep extending, and then he said, well, I've done enough.
Yeah, well, no, I did. I wanted to be positive down the back, and Dan just said, keep going forward, keep the race going forward, and be positive enough on him. You know, obviously, Rubaud probably would want better ground, and yeah, we wanted a good test. That's what we got, and we got the job done. But I think probably the best we've probably ever seen this horse was at Cheltenham, when they went a real strong gallop in front of him on a bit better ground, and I followed away, and you know, I got the pace made for me, if you like, in front of me, and he travelled away, turned in, pinged 2 out, and he quickened away. Hopefully in the Arkle that'll happen again.
So do you see him as what we might call a staying 2-miler then?
Yeah, for sure. Like last year over hurdles, like I probably in the Betfair got to the front probably very easily and got there too soon. He's probably idled on me a little bit, and he's probably a horse that only just does enough in front. But I do see him, yeah, as a staying 2-miler. I think a good hard front, you know, front pace in front of him will be much more to his liking.
And you've ridden, you know, a lot of good 2-mile chasers, and you've ridden one very good 2-mile chaser in these colours. In terms of what you're feeling underneath you, how does he compare?
As a novice, one thing, you know, touchwood, he's always been very good at jumping. I think for a novice, that'll stand him in very good stead. I've had the pleasure of riding some very nice horses. He's certainly done everything. He's now 4 from 4, winning a Grade 1 and a Grade 2. So everything we've asked, he's answered. He's got a bigger test awaiting him. We're not too naive to think that you know, it's not going to be a harder challenge in front of us, but we're challenged that we're looking forward to taking on.
We've spoken to Dan. Lisa's spoken beautifully. What did it mean to you to see these colours hanging on your peg today ahead of today's race?
Massive. You know, we always wish John could be here. John thought he was going to be here forever. That was the man he was. A great honour, you know, any time to put these silks on. We've already, I think myself, Dan and my dad have already spoken what he's done for our life, family, and so many other people in racing. But an absolute honour to put these colours on, and hopefully we all did John proud today. And yeah, he'll be a happy man watching.
You absolutely did, Harry. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Dan Skelton is here. Now, you're wearing a very broad grin, Dan. What was your countenance like during that race? Talk me through it from your perspective.
I was delighted the whole way through, to be honest with you. I thought he jumped beautifully, travelled very well. I thought Rubaud was really pushing and making sure that it was a proper gallop. Say that's it's as fast as 2-2-milers can go, to be honest with you. Obviously, he was superior from 3 out to 2 out, from 3 out to the last, and then I'd say he got a bit lonely, blew up, which is fine, you know. It's about winning, and he won, and I'm delighted with him. I think the second put up a great performance.
I said to you at the beginning of the day, how straight is he? And you did say pretty straight, so you wouldn't attribute that to a relative lack of fitness?
No. He was fit. I mean, there's room for improvement, but he was fit. I'd say he was at least as fit as he was for Stratford first run of the season, and then we stepped forward to Cheltenham and Ascot. So I think there's a room for improvement, but I couldn't blame fitness today if he got beat, because he was fairly fit. Now, I do think he'll improve a good bit, but like, we had this race in mind. It's pretty poignant success, obviously carrying John's colours, first winner since John's passed. But he's a good horse, this horse.
It might just be worth reminding everybody, in addition to having some lovely horses for you to train, John Hales and his family go back with the Skeltons a long, long way. Just explain how important they've been to you.
John and his family are just unbelievable supporters of all horse sports, and actually not even horse sports, animals. Like, what people don't realise about John is that he was a police dog trainer in his earlier life. He had a fantastic life story, which I'm sure we'll hear about in the coming weeks in the build-up to his funeral and at his funeral. But that family just love horses, and he bought Arkle. Actually, I brought the video back from the Sunshine Tour in the south of France. This really nice young horse, 6-year-old, that Dad wanted to buy, and John Hales had showed interest in buying. So I put him in. I brought the video back, and he bought the horse, and that's probably what got Dad back in the saddle after a broken neck.
This is, of course, Arkle, for those who don't know, who was your father's gold medal winning show jumper.
He was, yeah. He nearly won at Athens, but that he didn't win, and John took it the way he did. Shows what a man he was.
Well done, Dad. Well, quite something to see these colours in the winner's enclosure, Lisa.
Yeah.
Quite something.
Yeah. It's been a tough week. The big man's up there watching. Harry gave him a great ride, just said he didn't do anything when he got in front, but yeah, it's not been great, but you know, he'll be proud.
He'd be remarkably proud, and it struck a number of us a number of times this week that it was Cheltenham the week before he died,
Yeah.
and Windsor 2 weeks before that,
Oh
when
my
he
God.
was just
Buzzing.
over the moon.
He was absolutely, I cannot tell you, all the way home he was buzzing. I'm so glad we went that day. He gave him one big last day, and honestly you'd have thought he'd have won the Gold Cup that day. He was just beside himself. So happy, and he'd love today. He loves the big days. He loves having horses with Alex and Ged and with Dan and Paul and Ollie. You know, everybody gets on so well, and he lived and breathed racing. He loved it.
Dan was saying it wasn't just horses; it was all animals. To what extent is that the way you'll remember him from? You know, clearly he passed that down to you as well. Just that absolute affinity with animals.
Absolutely. He used to be an RAF dog trainer in his younger years. He always had an affinity with dogs, German shepherds. Loved the horses. Used to come down, give them polos, carrots, go in the field. And I used to say, Dad, please don't go in. There's a lot of them. Oh, they won't hurt me. They know who I am. And they never hurt him. It was incredible. But he just loves them, just loves the horses.
But also had that great competitive spirit as well.
He was a winner. He was a winner. And that's why I think he gets on so well with Alex and Sir Alex and everything, you know, because they're winners. He wants to win. But saying that, you know, he also knew they're not machines. So he was good in defeat, but he liked his wins.
And just tell me a little bit about the support that you and Pat have been shown during the last few days.
Well, I have to say, the messages, the flowers, the write-ups on him, I haven't seen one bad word. And to be honest, that's a testament to the man. He was just incredible. He was just an incredible man. And he was my dad. And I'm very proud of him. I'm sorry.
Not at all. He'd be incredibly proud of you. It's wonderful to see you both here today, and even more so that these colours have come back with a lovely grey as well, which he loved so much.
The greys are. Honestly, if someone rang him up and said, "I've got a grey horse," buy it. Honestly, buy it. He was just taken with them. He just We've had some really good ones in the past, and listen. You know, will he give Sir Gino or Marchborough a run? Who knows? But we love him anyway, so yeah, we'll be there.
Of course you will.
Give it a go.
And it's great to see you here.
Yeah.
He'd have loved it. Lisa, thanks so much for talking.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.